Hi, I'm Lorianne McLaughlin, Senior Editor Digital at MIT Sloan Management Review. We're here at the 2025 MIT Sloan CIO Symposium. This conference brings together innovators from around the world to share breakthroughs and lessons with each other. This year, AI is demanding a lot of leaders. AI is transforming business models, business process, and even work culture. Amid all this change, what are the most important leadership traits? What traits should you be developing in yourself and in your team? Here's what AI experts and leading CIOs have to say.
So I'm going to give a bit of a weird answer. I think playfulness is actually a critically important trait, because when we think about how we really learn to use technology, right, it's by playing with it, it's by tinkering with it. Leaders who are playful, who tinker with things themselves, are more likely to let their people do that too. And that's how people are really going to get it.
I think the trait that's most important is what I call as present futurists. And these are the leaders who really understand the future but are grounded in the present. And especially in the AI context, really understanding where the organization is going 5 years from now, what it will look like, what those experiences will look like, and then work backwards and connecting it to what happens today, and then drawing a path from present to future.
Yeah, I would say the very first one is going to be courage. And why? Because you have to think about the transformation that's ahead, the change management, also your own beliefs about how things should work and how they're now evolving. That takes courage to reimagine the art of the possible and to leave things behind that are still serving you well today. So actually having courage, I think, is the biggest, most critical capability and skill a leader can have in this particular inflection point.
AI is opening up so many possibilities. Where you need to think about for being a leader is the ability not just to improve what you're already doing, but to rethink the right way to do it, because AI makes it possible.
The single most important trait I found that leaders need to effectively embrace for AI is to decide how they want to lead by example. I think leading by example with AI means you share the prompts you use with people. You talk about how you get value from interrogating transcripts or CSV files. You use AI as a vehicle to build teams and manage your people. I think the real challenge of AI is not just the use cases that AI does a good job of dealing with, but how AI is used to bring out the best in people, and that includes bringing out the best in leaders.
AI is revolutionizing the way we are able to capture value, augmented our existing capabilities, but at the same time, we need to keep the human in the loop. We need to trade off whether we have to reinvent the processes, doing a completely re-engineering from scratch, or adapting the existing processes in order to be much more efficient. And at the end, I believe it's not a technical challenge. We are seeing how those technical capabilities are becoming more a commodity. As any transformation, change management, and the human factor is pivotal in order to guarantee that we are gaining value, we are addressing all the problems, and we are connected with the meaningful necessities of the businesses.
The number one trait that AI leaders should really be thinking about today is their willingness to learn. And that's both for themselves and what they enable for the teams that they work with. So for themselves, it means being willing to get your feet wet, right? Your hands dirty, actually dive into the technology and, feel what it's like firsthand so you know what you're talking about so you can be a more authentic leader. And then for your teams, it means provide the training, provide the capability building to enable them to learn. It is in fact the number one most important element that we know knowledge workers are asking for from their leaders today to get the training they need to feel comfortable leveraging AI in the workplace.
So the trait that I think is most important for leaders to have as we move into this new age of AI is the trait of being both curious and experimental while being cautious and understanding of the business risk that it introduces. I come from the world of cybersecurity, and in my world, technologies tend to have unintended consequences. Not just that they open up vulnerabilities, but that they create opportunities for our businesses to not actually perform the way that we think they might perform, or our processes to do something different than we think they might do. With AI, we're still in that experimental phase. We want to try new things. We want to see how it will help our processes and change our culture. But at the same time, we want to understand what are the new vulnerabilities, what are the business risks, what are the security risks, and what do we have to do to make sure that we stay cyber resilient so that our businesses don't flounder should we have unintended consequences.
Well, the best answer I can give is we don't know yet. It's much too soon. As we've seen in the past, what often seems like a good start ends up being a disaster. So unfortunately, we have to wait and see better results. I think the important thing is to look at it and take it seriously. Ignoring it is clearly not the right move, but exactly what is the right move, too soon to tell.
I think the single most important trait for leaders is to know what AI can do for their businesses, broadly speaking. You need to be familiar with the technology, but even more than that, you need to be familiar with what are the implications? What does it mean for the workforce? How could it enable a completely different design of your key business processes? And I don't think there are very many executives or boards of directors who really have a good handle on that. It's something that they need to work on assiduously.
What leadership trait do you think is most important right now? Tell us in the comments. And for more wisdom on AI strategy, please see our curated playlist. Thanks for watching.